Everybody, this week's the one-year anniversary of the Robert Mueller investigation into Trump and Russia. What have we learned?
Witch hunt. Witch hunt. Witch hunt.
That's what it looks like to many Americans so far. More than $3 million taxpayer dollars have been spent. More than 100 people from the campaign, government, and private industry have been interviewed. 15 search warrants issued. Millions of documents turned over. And no one's been charged with any crime involving collusion, treason, or espionage. In fact, the New York Times reporting this week, a year and a half later, no public evidence has surfaced connecting Mr. Trump's advisors to the hacking or linking Mr. Trump himself to the Russian government's disruptive efforts. In that same New York Times piece, some stunning information came out. You ready? 100 days before the election, the Obama administration placed at least one spy in the Trump campaign. The Obama administration opened up an investigation into the Trump campaign without any criminal evidence. The Obama administration used secret subpoenas to obtain phone records and other documents from the Trump campaign. And the Obama administration used an unverified dossier of Russian smears paid for by Hillary to eavesdrop on the Trump campaign. The bottom line remains. Team Obama spied on the Trump campaign using wiretaps and moles with no clear justification. And now the same federal agencies who launched the investigation are stonewalling the American people. House Intelligence Chairman Devin Nunes had this to say.
If the campaign was somehow set up, I think that would be a problem, right? If there were somehow meetings that occurred and all this was a setup, because we have yet to see any credible evidence or intelligence that led to the opening of this investigation.
Investigative reporter and Fox News contributor Sarah Carter joins me now to break this all down. Sarah, Devin Nunes, he didn't clearly say it, but he basically made the premise that there's evidence this may have been a setup from the jump. Do you believe that?
Yes, I absolutely do believe that. Based on all the evidence that we have now, as compared to what we had over a year ago. And there's something else, Jesse. Remember, these are the same people that went after Chairman Nunes. They went after me on my breaking stories on this. Other journalists who were trying to look into this at the time, saying this is just implausible. This is a joke. This isn't even true. And now, going into the second year and all of the evidence that has come out of this, what we have discovered is a system that used our it was a counterintelligence investigation. That's very important. It allowed them, which is the DOJ and the FBI, as well as other intelligence agencies, to basically weaponize the tools in our IC community, our intelligence community, against a campaign.
That's just shocking. Just think about it and take a step back here. Imagine if the Bush administration had used a counterintelligence operation against the Obama campaign over nothing. Because right now there has been no criminal evidence to show there was any wrongdoing to justify the wiretapping and the secret subpoenas and even the opening up of the investigation. You had the New York Times report come out this week. Crossfire Hurricane was the code name they used of this counterintelligence espionage investigation. And there was a meeting that Papadopoulos had with someone over in Great Britain. Turns out Papadopoulos, who was like 28 at the time, and Carter Page, we all know Carter Page and who he is, they're invited over to Great Britain to go to all these conferences. They get fed full of rumors about, oh, the Russians may have some of Hillary's emails, and they just pass it along over drinks to an ambassador, and then the FBI sends Peter Strzok over to London, and they cook up the investigation based on gossip.
That's exactly it. It appears on its face that they were being lured and being given information for the very purpose of then passing that information on to Ambassador Downer from Australia. And then he turned around and reports it back over to U.S. intelligence because they're very close allies of us. And then an investigation ensues. And remember, this is right after they pretty much exonerated Hillary Clinton in a criminal investigation.
And it's also right after they'd gotten their hands on this fake dossier that Hillary paid for, filled with unverified, salacious information which they used to obtain the warrant. Now, the Daily Caller has a piece and seems to be asking questions about who the spy was on the Trump campaign.
Well, this is what I know. When you're dealing with an informant, particularly somebody that, now this is how they classify him. And remember, this did not come from Chairman Nunes. This came from leaks from the DOJ, from the FBI, or from people within that close circle in England. This is where the New York Times and the Washington Post and others have gotten their information. So based on that information that they themselves leaked, based on this information, we know that there was an informant. Now, the thing is, Jesse, these types of informants don't just work on one case. They must be working on numerous cases for the CIA as well as the FBI, and they usually go by a code name. Those code names are basically the only thing that anybody at the DOJ or the FBI would ever see. They would never know the person's real name.
Right.
Only the people really close to him.
And we're not outing this guy as the spy. We're
That's
just
right.
What I'm saying is the Daily Caller pieces together, and Sarah, we're going to continue to monitor this. It's just to put it in perspective again. The Obama administration wiretapped and had informants inside the political opponent's campaign, Donald Trump's campaign.
Exactly.
And just soak that in, everybody. I want everybody to soak that in. All right? Sarah, got to go. Thank you very much.